Don't lose your way. Your mind, we have to be as one.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Storm here, coming at you guys with another video today. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 Pendulum decks that I think can survive the Link transition, the transition from the Link mechanic. Now, first couple of things, the one thing I want to get to is that the changes to the Pendulum mechanic do hinder the mechanic as a whole, because one of the greatest strengths of the Pendulum mechanic is that you can recur monsters from the extra deck. Well, now, unless you have a Link monster open zone, you have open Link zones or an open extra deck zone, you can only summon one from the extra deck. But I'm going to get into some ways I think that problem can be mitigated. Also, I think it goes without saying that a lot of these Pendulum decks I'm going to mention in this video can easily integrate cards like Duelist Alliance and the pair of Sorcerers, Chronograph and Astrograph Sorcerer, in their decks. Because Astrograph Sorcerer, whenever cards you control is destroyed, you special summon it, searches a card. Chronograph can allow you to special summon itself in the same way, but instead of searching, it summons a monster from your hand. So if you destroy a card, then you can normal summon another monster, and bam, you've got an instant Decode Talker to open up your Link zones, and those monsters can then be Pendulum summoned back. Gofu is also another card, but obviously, we'll go ahead and get to the main topic. So first deck I want to talk about, this is kind of the one we all know that I think like can still be good, which is Magicians, namely the Zark build that we're getting. We are getting the important thing to note is that we are getting Pendulum Evolution about a month before the Link starter deck comes out. So the deck is going to be running around at full power for a little bit. But even when Link summoning happens, the set after we get Link summoning, Magicians are getting some really powerful new extra deck monsters. I didn't do videos on them, but outside of Odd Eyes, Starving Venom's a really powerful card. It can target anything in the graveyard. It's a contact fusion for 2 Dark Pendulum monsters. It can target anything in either player's graveyard or on the field, copy the effect. So if you have an Ignister on field and you summon out Starving Venom, you can copy the effect. If you have an Ignister sitting in the graveyard after it gets striked, the card isn't as quite as good with the Link mechanic, because you can't you can't Pendulum summon, make another extra deck monster, then contact into it. But it's definitely a card I feel like that's very good. And with the other 2 cards, Clearwing is amazing. Clearwing opens up a lot of OTKs because you synchro summon into it. It nukes your opponent's board. Their entire face-up board is nuked. It's gone, and then it's Lightning Vortex, and then without the cost, and nukes all their face-up monsters. On top of that, if your opponent happens to have something that's a little bit sticky that's immune to battle destruction, you can swing it into there. It'll destroy the monster, and it'll burn them. It's a pretty incredible card. It's a power play. It's what the deck needed. And we also have, Dark Rebellion's really good. It fixes one of the problems the deck has always had, which is getting over big monsters. Now you can just make a Dark Rebellion and swing over just about any monster, provided that now that monster, it's not like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. It has to actually affect them, be able to lower the monster's attacks. You can't use it to cram over Masterpiece, for example. But I feel like with the way the deck functions, it can play cards like Fairy Tale Luna, like Miss Valley Apex Avian, can easily be integrated to the deck, because Dimensional Barrier, while I don't know how popular it will stay, Barrier is always going to be a card that's going to cause Pendulum deck problems. And of course, we have the fact that Wisdom Eye, Pendulum Call, and Joker are all off the list. They're all at 3, so we can all have that fact, knowing that fact. So that really helps the Pendulum deck, the Magicians as well. I'm not sure what would be the best variant, but the deck did top a big event in the OCG, even with and keep in mind the OCG, the only real there's a major, outside of Wavering Eyes, we're going to have every card they have, plus we're going to have everything at full power. So pretty much Magicians are going to be definitely going to be a viable deck, I think. The second deck I want to get to, which is Zephrys. Now this deck has kind of it's been hanging around in the OCG despite the new master rules. It's been hanging around a little bit as an engine for dinosaurs, but Zephrys as a whole one of the things that makes the deck so good is that, first off, it's a very, there's a lot of interchangeable parts of the deck. Zephrys are going to be and the new cards they got at Maximum Crisis had so much consistency. Zephyr Tora is an amazing card. Zephyr is an amazing card. Providence is a incredible search card. Oracle of Zephyr is one of the best designed field spells ever, in my opinion, because it rewards you for playing the deck as it's supposed to be played. And the deck just has so much flexibility as to what you can play in the deck. I feel like it's going to be a deck. Just because now the thing the deck does lose is what the deck does have a lot of built-in ways to recur monsters. But the deck definitely is Zephyr is not going to be quite as effective as far as its monster effect, because you're not going to be able to get off a mass Pendulum summon. Like, you're not going to be able to Pendulum summon, and then it's because Zephyr will be taking up your monster zone because it tributes all its monsters, special summon itself. So you're really not going to be able to get a lot of value out of its monster effect, but you can get a decent value off its Pendulum effect. And the Stardust Charge Warrior combo is always going to be a thing. So I feel like Zephyrs are a pretty solid deck. I definitely think that, they can still keep up with the new format. And I think by adjusting a few little things, that can still be very potent. The third deck is one I actually want to talk about, which is one that actually did really pretty well at a YCS, actually, with Zoo running around in YCS Pittsburgh, which is Dynamis. Dynamis really don't change at all with the new rules. The only plays, obviously Norden is getting banned, but Rare Fish is a card, but the other thing is, the only thing Dynamis really are losing is the easy Bahamut Shark and totally awesome play. Like, that play is not going to be quite as consistent because you're going to need an extra. You're going to basically have to have a Link monster out in order to make the play. So Bahamut, but that gives you more extra deck room because Dynamis, while they don't use their extra deck a lot, you have to dedicate a ton of space to cards like Utopia Lightning, the Bahamut Shark Toad. That's 4 spots right there. Then you have the Infinity Package. It's another couple slots. But the thing about Dynamis is they don't really play a ton of traps, at least, and you can adjust the deck to not be as trap heavy to accommodate the new Pendulum things. You can also integrate Chronograph and Astrographs or Astrograph Sorcerer into your deck to kind of mitigate the Link summoning costs. And Performance Pals integrate very well into the deck, and Duelist Alliance's Searching Sorcerer really helps the consistency. Overall, I feel like, and of course, Dynamis Howling is an amazing card, especially in a format where bouncing things is going to be a lot more relevant. Definitely a card that I feel like while it won't be quite as good because of the new restrictions, I feel like it can still function just about the same. You just won't be able to play as many traps, but that's perfectly fine. The fourth deck I wanted to talk about today for Pendulums was Metal Foes. Metal Foes are a very, very strong deck because I think as time goes, we already have a few vanilla monsters that are specifically linked to vanillas, like Link Spider. As time goes on, I think we're going to have more Link monsters that fit into vanilla category. But the other thing with Metal Foes is that a standard Metal Foe list only plays about 25 Metal Foe cards. You play at max. You play your 18 monsters and your 5 spell and trap targets. It's 20, anywhere from 20 to 25 lineup. It's a very small lineup. So you could fit a ton of other engines in. You could play Bow Baboon. You could play Lone Fire Blossom. You could play the Predaplant package. Gofu integrates very easily into the deck for the Link Spider combo where you can make a Link monster without using your normal summon. It's a pretty powerful deck, I think. I still think the biggest thing the only thing Metal Foes really lose from the transition is they don't really lose much from the transition. You won't be able to recur monsters. If you fusion summon a monster out of your, like an Orichalc with a Mithrilium, you'll have to recur from the graveyard instead of the extra deck. But I also don't think that's a massive issue for Metal Foes. And as we mentioned previously, Astrograph and Chronograph Sorcerer will pretty much solve will give you a lot more searching and consistency. The only thing that I'd say Metal Foes have a big issue with is recursion from the extra deck. While Mithrilium can get your dead cards out of your extra deck, the deck outside of banishing counters from the graveyard, it doesn't have a lot of effective ways to recycle those extra deck combo pieces as efficiently as it used to. I wouldn't say that it's it can't, but counter is an incredibly slow way of doing so. It's not like Oath Dragon Magician or other cards that other decks have. But I do think Metal Foes are a really strong deck to play simply because of the engines we have. There's so many ways I feel like this deck can abuse the card, even with Norden being banned, some of the other combo pieces being gone. and not as effective as they used to be, I still think that the deck can function pretty much the same. It'll still be an effective deck. And the fifth and final deck I'm going to choose here is probably one that should be a surprise, which is Performance Pals. Performance Pals are a deck that has kind of gone through, like, it's surprising how, I'm always surprised at how the TCG has approached this deck as opposed to the OCG, because instead of having, the deck hindered, we pretty much have the deck at full. Performance Pals, pure Performance Pals outside of Monkey Board being banned, are pretty much at full power, at full power that they were during their most powerful format. The biggest thing this deck has is it has tons of searching with 3 Joker at 3, with Sorcerer still at 3. The deck has tons of draw power with Daggerman's monster effect, with the Turtle Lizard draw combo. You also have Second Donkey to search things. On top of that, Daggerman allows you, Pendulum effect allows you to cycle back cards from your graveyard. The deck just has a ton of flexibility in the cards it can play. Pendulum Mucho integrates pretty well into the deck. You can play Trump Witch, you can put the Trump cards Diffusion Summon. You can play Go Golem, Diffusion Summon, and cycle cards back from your extra deck. It's got a lot of flexibility. And the fact that you have Earth monsters built into the archetype, like Daggerman, this is like Sorcerer, Daggerman, like Decking Donkey, really helps the deck, because you can summon them out. You can link summon, and then you can link summon and still have your Pendulum summon as a follow-up play. And Pendulum Rising is still, if you open a Pendulum Scale plus Second Donkey plus Pendulum Rising, it's a 4-card combo, but it just does some nutty things. And I feel like the deck it's gonna still be, I think it'll be a really, just Perform Pal variants, whether you're playing something like Draco Pals or whatever you're playing, it's still going to be a really consistent deck. And Brilliant Fusion integrates very well if you are playing the Draco engine as well. And overall, I feel like it's a pretty solid call. So anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Pendulum decks are completely dead with the new rules? Do you think that Pendulums just need a few little adjustments? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Orstorm, signing out.